What's going on, everybody? Hope you're having a good Friday or whatever day you're watching this. In today's video, I do want to talk about Bitcoin and an indicator we may see over the next couple days that will likely bring a lot more push upwards, a lot more buying pressure. And we're also going to talk about some crypto related stocks that I might have never talked about in this channel before. So let's get started on this. If you don't mind hitting the like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, helps my channel out a lot. Consider checking out some links down below for some free crypto and stocks. And let's get started. First off, let's take a look at Bitcoin. And remember, it's not going to be a straight shot up to the moon. There are going to be pullbacks along the way. There are going to be dips. There's going to be consolidation. And what we're looking at right now is hopefully some consolidation. We are looking a little bit overbought on the RSI, and I do think it's time to trade sideways for a second. And what I definitely don't want to see is a break. This was a very important level for us to break out. And to me, it would speak volumes to see us trade above it and hold over it. Now, time will tell if that actually happens, but we do have an indicator to look at, and you can see we're getting so close to it, and that's a golden cross again. This recent run-up has pushed the 50 and 200 moving average. They're now pointing upwards, which is bullish, and they're just about to cross. And seeing these cross might bring us to the next level up. So that is going to be something important to watch. And also, we are now looking bullish on the EMAs. We have the 50, 100, and 200 pushing up, and they are in the correct order, a bullish order. Bitcoin to me is looking great. I really wouldn't mind a little bit of consolidation, let that RSI reset. Let's not break any important levels that we recently broke out of, and then we can get our next move to the upside. I'm very happy with Bitcoin so far, and it looks great that we recently tested 35, and we're still here hovering right over 33,000. This wasn't just a big pump and then a dump. This was a pump and some consolidation here. It is important after every move up, after every breakout, to see a little bit of sideways action. Start establishing some new levels as supports. But let me know how you feel about Bitcoin lately, and how do you feel about the sentiment out there? I do think sentiment is starting to slowly shift, and we'll see this sentiment shift even more bullish as we break out to new higher levels, as we create new 52-week highs, as we get closer to the halving, and as we see any progress with any spot Bitcoin ETF news. And next up, I do want to talk about a couple of crypto related stocks. Some of these I've traded in the past. Some of these I've only watched from a distance. And one that I'll say I've never really traded is MicroStrategy. I do think this is definitely a good play to get into in terms of crypto related stocks. I think Michael Saylor is going to be a very, very rich man in the next bull run, and he will have the last laugh. Now, one thing I'm watching here is a gap fill down to roughly 380, 385. But you can see, just like a lot of crypto related stocks, MicroStrategy hit its bottom back in December of 2022. And now, nearly a year later, we are more than double from that low. And I gotta say, of a lot of the crypto related stocks, this one has had the most consistency. It's been basically consistently up and to the right. We had a golden cross, and we've been just continuing up ever since. We did peak out right around 470 back in the summer, cooled down a bit, and it does seem like we're about to break out soon. And one thing to watch out for with MicroStrategy is earnings is about to come out. So I do think there's a potential good entry point around earnings, and MicroStrategy still has a long way to go to climb back to previous highs, which I do think it'll eventually reach. But this is definitely seen as a good stock to get into if you want some crypto exposure, and if you want to do so on the stock market, not by going into an exchange and just holding actual crypto. Wall Street sees things like this as a little bit safer. We've got a lot of old money that doesn't want to try new things, and they're picking their plays within the stock market. But MicroStrategy holds Bitcoin directly, so you are getting exposure to Bitcoin by holding MicroStrategy. I do think this is one that'll do very well in 2024 and 2025. Next, I want to talk about Coinbase. Coinbase was actually the first crypto exchange that I used to hold crypto. I still hold some crypto on there, some Bitcoin, Ethereum, a little Cardano, maybe even a little bit of SHIB. And Coinbase is one that I expect to do very well. They IPO'd towards the end of the previous Bitcoin bull run. They saw a few profitable quarters. However, while Bitcoin was trending down, we started seeing a lot of fear in this one, just a huge sell-off. And you'll see a continued theme here. Just like other crypto-related stocks, Coinbase bottomed out back in December of 2022 as well. It's been trending up since then. We saw a golden cross back in the middle of summer, and I would keep an eye on it here because it is testing the 200 MA, and it seems like it's struggling to stay over the 50 MA. But that may be due to earnings coming up, a little bit of fear on earnings. They're expecting a $650 million quarter. And while they're likely not to see quarter over quarter revenue growth, we are going to see year over year revenue growth as long as they don't drastically miss their estimate. Coinbase has a pretty decent balance sheet. They have about 5.1 billion in cash, 3.5 billion in debt, more than enough cash to service that debt. And I do expect probably towards the end of 2024, they'll see profitable quarters again. So I do believe they have enough cash to burn until then. Price to sales is currently at 6.3, which I do think will change quite considerably as we start getting more piling in. When the volumes are very high on these exchanges, they make drastically more money. When there's less trading, they're making less money. So when Bitcoin starts gaining momentum, gaining a lot of attraction, gaining a lot of new people getting in, Coinbase will start seeing profitable quarters again, and a lot more sales, a lot more revenue from increased transactions. And next up, I want to mention Riot. There are a lot of Bitcoin miners out there. I'm very bullish on CleanSpark, very bullish on Iris, and I'm very bullish on Riot. I do have a small position, and I am going to continue to slowly build it out. And we have earnings coming up here as well, and similar to Coinbase, they probably aren't going to see a quarter-over-quarter revenue gain, but they are very likely to see a year-over-year revenue gain. So over the long term, these companies are growing revenue, and that's really what's important here. They're expecting nearly a $68 million quarter where revenue is concerned, which is double in some cases compared to what they were getting during the peak of the previous bull run. So just imagine what these guys are going to be pulling in the peak of the next bull run. They're going to be pulling in well over 100 million in revenue and seeing profitable quarters once again. This did bottom out as well in December of last year, and in my opinion, it's safe to say we're never going to see those low prices again. I would keep an eye on it because it did recently show a death cross. We may see some more pullback. I do think anything under 10 is an extreme buy for me. That said, I'll likely also be buying in the teens as we start trending up in the near future, in my opinion. But let me know what you guys are watching out there. There are definitely a lot of crypto related stocks, a lot of good Bitcoin miners out there to gain some exposure on. You don't need to just have one horse in the race. I do think there are going to be many successful horses, and our goal is to try to pick the fastest ones. But let me know what your fastest horses are. Thanks as always for watching, guys, and enjoy your weekend.